What's up, y'all? My name's Sean, and this might be the future. I've got a couple 3D printed whistles here to check out. Let's see what they can do. Now, full disclosure, the usual routine here, I did not pay for these whistles. I've not been asked to make a video, I've not been asked to say anything one way or the other about them, but take that for what it's worth. Now, the company who made these is called River Whistles, and I've reviewed theirs in the past as they were going through a few different questions on material selection and trying different mechanical processes and such. These are the first 3D whistles that I've ever seen, that I've ever had a chance to review. All right, let's move all this stuff out of the way. Now, we've got 3 whistles to check out: a high D, a G, like an alto mid-range whistle, and then a low D whistle. Now, the first thing that I see about all these is they're not tunable. So that would be a concern for me as a occasionally professional player. I'm not a particularly big fan of non-tunable whistles, no matter where they're coming from. That being said, I think the purpose of this is not to be put on stage necessarily, but maybe as a good practice tool, in which case having a tunable whistle is really not a big concern. Let's just check out how the high D sounds. Well, better than I would have expected, I'll put it that way. You know, it's a little bit reminiscent of a Clark sweet tone as far as the tone of the whistle, not the feel of it, because that's a conical bore, so it's definitely going to feel different than that, but the sound of it is remarkably similar. Well, you do have a fair bit of control over the tone that you get out of it. You can kind of push it around a little bit, which is a bit surprising. You've got room. Yeah, you really do have some room there before it breaks. Surprising. That's pretty cool. Before we move on to the other whistles, I do want to check intonation real quick and just see how we're doing because you can't tune it. Let's see. It's sharp, but it's sharp in the same amount, which to me is a good thing, because again, you're not really looking to take an instrument like this to a gig or to be playing along with other people, but if it's sort of in tune with itself, that's kind of really all you need. Let's check out the G whistle, which admittedly I don't have a lot of experience with. I just got my first ever G whistle recently. Ooh, it's got a nice mellow sound. Wow, it's actually got quite a bit more power, I would say, even than the D whistle, and certainly more power than I was expecting. Usually the lower down you go, the less you get. Yet it does seem fairly efficient, which is kind of cool. Let's check tuning on this one as well, just to see, because it feels odd. Actually, a lot closer, surprisingly. So yeah, this one is even more in tune. It's a nice sound. It's a really nice kind of mellow sound. Surprisingly efficient. Now the low D is a stretch. This is definitely a bigger reach than I'm used to. A lot more breathy, which is fairly common of low D whistles, but still stronger than I would have expected. Yeah, that reach would definitely take some getting used to. Here, by comparison, is my regular low D that I occasionally play anyway, the Killian O'Brien. And I can kind of see, let's see if we can line these up. Hopefully you can see how much lower the low note is on this one relative to the spacing around it. You know, it's definitely a drop, but that's what it needs to be, I suppose, and you'd probably just get used to it. Yeah, really nice sound. I'm not sure what the pricing is going to be on something like this. That's really going to be the deciding factor. If it's affordable, it might be a great instrument to take to a beach, or to the pool, or to a campsite, something like that, where you're not as concerned about tunability, you're not concerned about necessarily fitting in. it's just something fun to have, and it's easy to just chuck in a bag. They seem fairly sturdy too. You know, they're not squishy. I've played some mass-produced whistles, honestly, like the Sweet Zone, which seem a lot more crushable than this. So that's definitely an improvement. Particularly the head joint seems very sturdy. You know, there's not a lot of give to that, which is, I think, what you want. So now the big question then is, does this replace this? And my opinion is no, not yet, anyway. Tunability is always going to be an issue. Even these cheap mass-produced generations, you can take the mouthpiece off and give you some degree of freedom to adjust the tuning, so I think that's going to be an issue. I'm not entirely sure if that could even be solved, at least with the current state of 3D printing. You definitely have to make the inner piece quite a bit thinner, I would imagine, which I'm assuming would make it a bit more fragile. So I don't know if we're there yet. That may be something that has to come down the road, or maybe we'll be printing with titanium in a couple years, in which case that problem will clearly be solved. I also wonder if you run into the same sort of mass production foibles that you'd get out of something like a generation. You know, the reason why somebody like Jerry Freeman has a gig tweaking whistles, making them better, is because off the production line, they're not 100%. At least most of the time they're not. So he tweaks them and makes them really nice. A personal handmade touch. I wonder if you either can do the same thing to these whistles or can tune the equipment enough so that they don't become a problem. I really don't know. That's probably some of my ignorance with 3D printing, I suppose. But I would foresee the same kind of problems with that. From a durability standpoint, I would wonder about the heat tolerance. Like if I were to leave this in a car, is it going to melt? I wouldn't have any great concerns about leaving one of these there because I've done it a lot and they seem to survive even in pretty high temperatures. Not sure if that'd be the case, maybe so, but it would be a great car whistle. Something to have just as an emergency when you need to bust out a tune if you're stuck at a stoplight. You can't beat something like this. You could hear a couple of squeaky notes in that tune. Some of that is just a matter of adjusting to the whistle, and some of that is probably the whistle itself, and it's sort of a matter of finding that balance. But overall, again, still waiting on the pricing, not sure what we're looking at there, but assuming it's reasonable, it's kind of cool. Thanks a million to River Whistles for sending me these. I'm always curious to see what's new on the market, see new ideas, new technology, basically. I am giving these away, too, for somebody who's maybe interested in getting into whistle playing if they don't already have one, want to try some new keys, or just also experiment with what else is out there on the market. To get into the giveaway, subscribe if you're not already. Thank you to those of you who are. Give me the thumbs up on this video, give me the like, and then leave a comment down below letting me know what the next whistle I ought to review should be. You know, you've probably seen some of the other ones that I've done. If there's something else out there that I haven't taken a look at that I might need to, let me know. And I'll do a drawing here in the next 2 weeks and I'll ship these out to you. So thanks again, cheers y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.